Hey guys, Mike here from East Coast Dice. Today we're going to talk about the fundamentals of throwing with a short stick. So it's relatively basic, but again we want to make sure we have our fundamentals down pat before we get into anything more complicated. So the first thing we're going to talk about again is our hand position. It's important to have our hands in the right position, get the right leverage on the stick. So let's take a look, make sure our hand's in the right spot.
The first thing we want to talk about is getting our bottom hand up high. So when you start your throwing motion, your bottom hand should be just below your shoulder. This way you can pull it down. Then the actual throwing motion, we want to bring this hand over top and this hand pull down and follow through. Alright, so you practice that a couple times. The next step is stepping with your front foot. It'll be the opposite foot of where your hands are. So if you're left-handed, it'll be your right foot. If you're right-handed, it'll be your left foot. So when throwing, you want this foot to step up like a pitcher. So you have it back here, and you step up, and you throw and follow through, and your stick needs to be pointed at your target. If your stick is pointing right at your target, the ball should go right there.
Alright, now that we have our hands in the right position, we can work on the actual throwing motion and stepping with the foot. It's very important to step with the foot, almost like a pitcher does in baseball, even though I don't really support that sport. So anyway, let's take a look, see what the correct throwing motion is, and how to step with our front foot.
Alright, so hand position. Rather than catching where you want your hand up the shaft, we're going to have it a little bit further down so your hands are closer together to give you more leverage when you're throwing. You can see there's probably about 6 or 7 inches in between my hands now, and this hand's at all the way to the bottom of the shaft. And as you can see, a lot of people like to put a piece of tape where their hand should be. So that'll help you find that marker when you're ready to throw.
Now that we have everything else down, we can work on the rotation of our hips. This is where all the power is generated and will help us have a good, firm pass to give to our target. Let's take a look on how to rotate our hips.
So the key to a good throwing motion is movement in your hips. Nobody should be pushing the ball like this. The power should all be turned from swinging your hips around. So I'm sideways in my stance, I bring this up, and I follow through with my hips. So you see how my body turns. So if I'm going to throw at Greg, who's the cameraman right now, I can catch the ball here and swing around with my hips. So now you see my hips are square. They've gone from parallel to square to my target.
Alright, so now I'm going to give you a great practice tip. Take a look, see how I like to practice throwing the ball, and make sure you have good form with both hands.
Alright, so one of the best ways to practice your form in throwing is to stand in front of a mirror. Now, for your parents' sake, I recommend that you stand a good bit back from the mirror. But if you stand in front of a mirror, you should be able to watch yourself throw. And that way you can make sure you have a good throwing motion. And then you can compare it to your left hand. So your left hand throwing motion should be the exact same as your right hand throwing motion. This is all checkable in a mirror. So a great way to practice throwing is looking at yourself in a mirror without a ball and having good form.
Alright, now that we've thrown in front of a mirror, we can now throw with somebody. So we know that our form is good, we know that everything's correct. Now it's time to practice. If you don't have someone you can throw the ball with, like I said, I've always been lucky to have Greg, you can go and play against the wall. The wall is pretty much just the same, you gotta throw it a little bit higher, isn't as realistic. It's preferable that if you can find somebody to go in the backyard and play catch with, that's the way that you want to do it. Alright, so now we'll go look and watch Greg and I throw the ball and make sure we both have good form. So as you guys can see, the only way you're going to get better at throwing the ball more accurate is if you practice. It takes probably going in the backyard almost every single day, throwing the ball around. The greatest players in the world, I read an article the other day where Mikey Powell said he had his mom sew in a holster in all of his shorts so he could carry his lacrosse stick around. But jokingly, that probably made him a great stick handler. It's always good to have your stick in your hand and play with your stick. It's the only way you're going to get better at lacrosse. So thanks guys for watching today. Make sure you subscribe to my channel for more skills and drills. And like this video if you want to see more stuff. I know that we need to go over catching and throwing the long pole, so those videos are coming up. Alright, thanks for watching guys.